Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful Ponytown news update video. Today we have ourselves version 0.80.0 and let me tell you everyone, let me tell you, this is a very large update that has added over 90 new objects to the placeable objects. So we can place even more things on our maps now, and that is extremely exciting for so many reasons. There's just so many new opportunities now with the island, and because of this, I don't know if we're actually going to get any kind of new island update anytime soon, unless they're like fixes or some tiny little thing, just because of the absolute size of the map abilities and stuff like that we got. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go ahead and start at the top of this changelog here, which clearly and simply just states added snow and ice wall locations to the main map. This is actually way more exciting than you might think. And I'll explain why in a moment once I actually get into the game and kind of show you around and stuff like that, to some of the changes on the main map. And let me tell you, you're going to be excited for it and you're going to love it. But let's move on. They added the ability to change the house and island season using the building menu or a /season command. This is actually extremely exciting as well, because now we can finally change the season of the map whenever we want. If you want it to be summer, even though it's currently winter, you can have that happen. If you want a specific item to be summer instead of winter, you can do that now, all with the new little item there that's not technically new, is the rake. You can now equip the rake by pressing F 3 times, and then it'll give you the rake tool, and you can press on certain things and it will change the season of that object. There's also a new little UI icon in the top right of some objects that will allow you to change the season of that object before you even place it, and that's exciting. And like I said, of course, we got over 90 new objects. Don't let this somewhat small list here fool you. There's like 90 new items, trust me. And they added the ability to pick up leaves, so you should be able to pick up leaves now, which is exciting. They added new variants of the paintbrush, which again is exciting and interesting. I can't wait to see what people do with that. They added winter versions of the benches, boxes, crates, rocks, and so on. So there's new winter versions of things that you wouldn't have thought there would have been winter versions of. They added a toggle toolbox command, so you can get rid of that toolbox or restore the toolbox without having to use multiple commands, which is nice. They improved sprites of house tools. I'm not entirely sure which of those they did improve or what exactly they changed on that, but they did. But anyway, they fixed some other map errors and light rendering issues and blah 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 blah. No one really cares about all those other things. So let's move on to the actual game. This is where it gets really interesting, because if I actually hit this right here, we'll get to see some of these ice walls and snow walls and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and get in the game and show you guys what this new change is here, because it's very exciting, and you're gonna see some people already there, and here we are already at it. This is a maze. That's right, they added a maze to Ponytown. It's actually a very fascinating maze, because you can technically be like, oh, I solved the maze because I went and got the muffins at this table, or you can be like, oh no, you have to solve the maze by getting the muffin and then going all the way around and getting out of the maze over here. I personally think the way to solve this maze, the way to speed run this maze, if you will, is to go all the way down, get the muffin, and then leave the maze through the exit on the right, and that, I believe, is how you should solve this maze. So I'm not going to solve it now, but I do know the solution to this maze, and the reason why I don't want to solve it right now is because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But it is actually really hard, because there's no way you can use see-through obstacles or even toggle the tall walls on or anything like that. There's nothing you can do to be able to see this better, and it's just a huge mess of walls and stuff like that. But trust me, it is solvable. It is just very difficult because of the way that it's set up. You can hardly see any entrance or any exit to this, and honestly, I absolutely love it. I think they hit it out of the park with this maze. It is the perfect amount of challenge, and I can't wait to see people try to speedrun this maze, what else they do with this maze, and things like that. One more thing I want to add is you cannot fly over this maze at any point. There's no ice walls or snow walls whatsoever that you're able to fly over, so flying will not give you any sort of advantage. So anyway, that's that. There's also some other ice walls and snow walls and stuff like that scattered about the map, but none of them are as exciting as that one down there. Most of the other ones are just purely decorative and everything like that, such as this one here, which is pretty exciting and everything like that. As well, I do want to point out something about this ice wall here. I personally think this ice wall is a good indication that more, interesting things are going to come eventually. In my opinion, this is a sign that perhaps we'll get some sort of proper windows eventually in the future. If they use something like this, some sort of clear thing like this, and kind of change the window sprites that we have currently, that is going to be a huge deal. I'm going to absolutely lose my mind if they ever do that. I hope they do. It's not a confirmed thing, and I have no idea if they ever will change the windows in Ponytown, but if they do, I would hope they do it something similar to how they've done this ice wall here. But that is enough of the map changes. There is a ton of little areas like this. I highly encourage you guys to explore this and kind of play around and everything like that. If you do want to find this maze, by the way, it is where the old pumpkin patch was. So if you know where the pumpkin patch was, that is exactly how you can find it. Basically, just go straight down from spawn and just follow this path, and you'll get to that maze eventually. So that's what I recommend you do to get to that maze area and everything. But let's move on to the actual house items and all of that jazz. So as you can see here, we have a ton of items here. As you saw from the changelog, it didn't look like that many things, but if we actually go up here, actually hit this little thing here, this little tab or whatever, you can actually see that there's 97 out of 1,600 items placed. The houseboat, the little houseboat that brings you back to the island, actually counts as one object, which means there is 96 objects currently sitting here on this little wood area. And yes, there is absolutely nothing else on the island anywhere. I'm not hiding anything. There is at least 96 new items to this game. Technically, you could say there's more because there is flipped versions of all of these snowmen. There is a right-facing version of all of these. There's multiple different versions and colors of things like this flower here and all kinds of stuff like that. There's all kinds of new versions for all kinds of things. As well, I didn't even mention or even add on here the new not ice, but the new snowy versions of the crates and boxes and barrels and stuff like that, which technically would be a new item. So there's over 90 new objects to the island, and honestly, some of you could fudge those numbers to make it over 100 new objects. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all these new items. So we have all kinds of new things here. We have flowers. That's right. You can now get dandelions year round, which is exciting and interesting because now there's new opportunities for mini games and game ideas and stuff like that that you can do with these flowers. Perhaps you want to do something sort of like a tag game, but you can't physically touch each other. You have to shoot these at each other and everything like that. That would be really interesting. And if you watching it, maybe you're out, so you have to lay down or something like that. That would be really nice and really fun and really interesting. And the fact that we now have dandelions and we can use those whenever we want is going to open up so many opportunities for mini games, role plays, and all kinds of ideas and stuff. They also added all kinds of mushrooms. You can grab these as well, and you can eat them and everything like that. Same thing with these flowers and stuff like that. You can grab some of them. Some of them obviously aren't bloomed, so you can't, but you can come up there and you can eat them and everything like that, which is nice. They also added some leaves. I kind of messed up when I was putting this up here, but these two objects are actually technically different objects. You have this one and you have this one, and then there's more than one version of this, and I think more than one version of this that are flipped and stuff like that. But anyway, you can actually come up on these and you can now pick them up. That's right, you can pick up leaves now and you can eat them and everything. It's really weird because I don't think horses normally eat leaves, but hey, you can do it now, and that's pretty nice. We also have all these tools and stuff like that, which are really interesting and everything like that. You can come out to any of these and pick up any of them if you want to, and then you can start using them or whatever, other than the pickaxe and the wrench. Those objects don't really do anything right now, but of course the paintbrushes change the color of things, and the new rake tool, if we grab this new rake tool, not the pickaxe, the little rake tool, the little pitchfork, the little back scratcher, whatever you want to call it, this thing will allow us to change the season of certain objects. So if I want to, I can come up to these fence posts and I can click on them and change them from whatever they were to summer, and then click on them and then change them to winter, and boom, they have a little bit of snow on them now. You can do this to rocks, to trees, and all kinds of things. If you're curious of what you can fully do, just open up your little building UI menu here, go to your all objects tab, which I recommend not to go to your all objects tab too much because it does take a couple of seconds to load because of how many objects there are now. But if we do this, kind of scroll over and everything like that, you will see that there's calendars and things like that on certain objects. This means that that object can actually change its season variant. So we can grab the winter version of the sandcastle, the fall version of the sandcastle, and then the summer version of the castle or whatever, and these are all three different. It's hard to tell the difference between the summer and the fall one, but there is a slight difference in its color, and I think people will be using that to their advantage, at least at some point. If you want it to always change with your island, for example, these three here will never change with my island if I use the /season command, which, if you're curious of the /season command, it is as simple as doing /season and then naming your season. So let's make it fall. So /season fall, it is fall now. I just froze for a second for some reason. I hit a weird lag spike there. That was weird. But anyway, there's that. And as you can see here, it didn't change the winter variant of this because it is not set on auto mode. If you want your objects to automatically change with the season with the map, you'll leave it in auto mode. For example, auto mode is this little calendar symbol. So if I go back to my sandcastle and equip this one here that has the little thing in the middle, it actually, if you hover over it, it actually tells you that it's auto. We can click that, we can place that down somewhere, and then change the season. So if we change the season, /season winter, as you can see now, it changed it to a winter version of that sandcastle. So there is a lot in this update. There's a lot of things for you to explore, all kinds of cool things. There's all kinds of categories now. We have a flowers category, we have a mushrooms category. I don't think that's what they call them. They call them, yeah, no, they call it the mushrooms category and the flowers category. So we have two new categories and all kinds of interesting things. If you're curious of where the minecart is a new exciting thing that we got. It's in the miscellaneous section and everything like that. And if you're curious of to where the snowmen are, so the snowmen are in the outdoor tab. So we go to the outdoor tab, find the snowman. As you can see, there's two versions of it, one that's facing one way and the other one that's facing another. If we grab this and press space or place it and then grab ourselves a paintbrush, we will actually be able to change that to whatever kind of snowman we want. So that's how that works. These can also be changed for the color if they're in fall or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really anything else to say about this update other than you can come up to big leaf piles and grab leaves from there as well. You don't have to grab the one that's on the ground. And you can grab each variation of the color if it's fall. But yeah, that is an exciting thing there. If you're curious of how to change the season one more time, you just do simply /season and then name your season. Autumn and fall should work for those seasons. If you're really struggling with that command and everything like that, though, you can open up your building UI, hit the little settings icon down there, and then hit this thing right here that says winter, that says summer, whatever. It's going to say some season, whatever season it currently is on your map. Press that, and then it allows you to see all the seasons there, all the seasons. And of course, auto will automatically change those things, as I mentioned earlier. So I hope that clarifies the things on how the seasons and stuff like that work. Let's make it spring just because, for no reason at all. And yeah, that's an interesting little thing there that you guys can do. You can't get inside these minecarts, by the way. I guess I should have clarified that a minute ago, but you can't actually get inside these minecarts. There's no way to get in them. You can't fly into them, you can't climb into them or anything like that. But if you do go to the crystal one, you can grab a little crystal from it, so that's nice. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the video. This is an exciting update, one that I think we've all been waiting for quite a while, and I can't believe that it's actually here. It's exciting and it's crazy. But that's gonna do it for the video. There's nothing else to talk about for the update, so I can't wait to see what you guys do with this. And yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and do all kinds of wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.